it's not that necessarily we can't fit a whole bunch of essentials into a day. It's that they must be based in routine and habit in order to be in there consistently. And the more routines and habits you can set around your essentials, the more A, they get done, and B, they get done without any thought or effort from you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. I'm Kelsey.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Rachel, and we have what I'd like to consider
An essential.
It's so essential. You knew what I was going to say. It's so essential. Why is everything so essential right now?
You know what? It's just like, how many number ones can there be on the priority list?
Everything is being billed as the most essential. It's like, so if you haven't heard, you need a 64-step skincare routine. You need to be hydrated. You need to text your friends back. Don't forget to exercise daily. Don't forget to connect with your partner. Don't forget to be an
Connect with
incredible parent.
be an incredible parent, be an incredible sibling, be an incredible daughter. If you have all these people in your life, whatever.
Travel, because you'll waste your life. Oh, but be professionally successful also, because you'll have no money.
But also have enough money in the bank to not feel stressed when you travel.
So save, but travel. Don't
Live
waste
your life like every day is your last, but plan for the future.
And you should wear clean underwear.
I'm sick of it. I'm wearing no underwear.
Oh my God. How many things can be essential? And I'm just going to say it straight out. I think this is really, this whole everything is essential thing is being aimed primarily at women.
100%.
And I see it on a daily basis of people being like, well, it seems that the essential list is quite long, and the word essential means I have to do all of those things. And so, does anybody have any tips and tricks? We do.
We do, actually. We have some tips and trips. I double down on it sometimes. When I miss a verse, I really just...
Let's go.
I just double down. Instead of stop talking, you just keep trying.
Just give me another chance. Cut.
Oh man, here's the thing.
Be well spoken.
Be well spoken on a podcast.
8 hours of sleep.
Here's I wanted to bring this up as we talk about some of the essentials or some of the things that we talk about being professionally successful and hydrated and the best parent and exercise daily, get your skincare routine, be youthful, but get wiser as you get older. It's so many things. And it seems to be more effective for me personally when I've seen some successful women say it. So I just want to say this thing to you guys, because maybe coming from me, it will be helpful. Having it all is impossible. So the person that you think has it all and is doing all the things and is just being successful at all of these top tier things, no. The answer is no. It's just not true. And when you put it up in your mind as this person is doing all of these things, it's just they don't feel like they are, and they're not. They're just not, because you can't have 1,000 number ones. You just can't. So as we start to go through some of these tips and tricks to get you in a place where you are being successful, and I want to say you are being successful at these things, keep in mind that you have to have the backdrop of knowing that you cannot have 1,000 number ones. Some days you're going to be really successful at one of your number ones and the other ones are going to fall off, and you still have to call that a successful day.
That's true. That's a good backdrop, but I personally don't have so much trouble with the comparison with other people on the essentials list. It's mostly just the like for myself. Like me versus me, like, oh man, you really crushed the day professionally, and it's 4 p.m. and you haven't drank any water.
Mm.
So it's just me going like, come on, be better, do better, because I know you can. And one of the things that we're going to talk about when we talk about setting some routines and habits in place for this list of essentials, which we know is actually essential. Being hydrated, essential. Eating a nutritious diet, exercising daily, going after professional, like these are things that are essential for, living your best and healthiest and happiest life. But um if they all need individual attention and thought and like gear and all kinds of complicated things, they're not going to happen. And so it's not that necessarily we can't fit a whole bunch of essentials into a day. It's that they must be based in routine and habit in order to be in there consistently. And the more routines and habits you can set around your essentials, the more A, they get done, and B, they get done without any thought or effort from you. And that is when you can really start seeing these essentials take shape into, the kind of person that you want to be. So I think the life hack for doing it all, which is not possible, but I think that the life hack for doing the most is it lies in routines and habits. And that's what we're going to talk to you about today is 5 of our favorite routines and habits to try to check as many things off your essential list as you can and have a day every day that you're really, really proud of.
Um, you know what I think some of the baseline for that is really when you start to think about like just being a successful human and how you're going to go about your day and set yourself up for success. You really have to have the baseline of it's like an infant, a base or a growing person. Of the baseline of your needs met. So that's where you want it when you're thinking about what your daily routines or habits are. What I want you to really start with is when you're developing your own, we're going to give you guys our top 5 like favorite ones, and some of Rachel and I's like vary between like what we implement on a daily basis. You guys can take some of these, like do the thing that we always tell you to do. Take what you need, leave what you don't. Add in maybe what's important for you, and you say like this is working into my top 5 daily routines, and this is how I'm going to do it. So I want you to kind of like listen to ours, decide what's helpful for you, decide which ones you're going to take or leave, and put in some of your own that you're going to implement, but with the how. So that's what like a lot of our focus is going to be around the how, because I want you to be able to insert your own in there, but have the how to back it up.
Yeah, because that's the formula, right? If you have the formula, then you can literally insert any goal and it just kind of gets into the formula. But I really think, when we talk about routines and habits, and I want to like kind of highlight too that like we start with a routine and then it becomes eventually a habit, right? But it has to start somewhere. So we're going to start by calling it, we're going to put this into your routine. And basically, just what that means is that it has a set time, a set, day if it's not an everyday thing. And that it also is something that is easy for you to go ahead and take from start to finish, right? We want as least friction points as possible. This is why people like sleep in their workout clothes, right? Because we're trying to take out friction point
I remember that.
when it comes to a routine, because the less you have to think about it, the easier it becomes. If you can do it on autopilot, you'll do it a lot. If you can't, then that becomes a friction point. And then once it becomes a habit, and that, experts talk about like, oh, after, this amount of days something will become a habit. But then there's like also studies that show that like exercise takes a little longer than other habits, like to actually be in place to become a habit. But essentially, when you think about a habit, you're really thinking about it no longer relying on willpower. And I think that that's the key, is getting into routines that you can repeat and that are easy, and then it moving into the habit space where it becomes no longer, do I want to do this? Let me argue with myself for an hour. Do I feel motivated to do this? All of that gets taken out of the equation. And I think that when people think about the things that they want to accomplish on a daily basis, a clean house, a skincare routine, hydration, exercise, like insert your thing that you feel like is lacking. If it met those guidelines where it no longer was about willpower and it was easy to accomplish, like now we're talking.
Yeah. What I think that always calls for like the 3 W's for me, which
Mm,
is
mm.
the what, where, and when. And that really has a significant impact on exercise routines because a lot of people fail in one of those on one of the W's. So they don't know what they're doing at the gym, they don't know sometimes where they're going, and they don't know what time. So if you don't have all of those things in place, it's really hard for it to become a habit, which like, recently when my gym switched, I had a little hiccup of like, well, I have to choose a new gym, and it stuttered me for a minute, and that habit is like solidly in place. And but it still had this like stutter step of like, but where am I going? What's the programming? Like now I'm all like
What time do I
thrown
go?
off. What time do I, you know what I mean? But like, the time was so built in so hard that like the others could kind of follow up. But for a lot of the routines and the habits that we want to put in place, you want to make sure you really do have those 3 things in place because you take so much of the thinking around it. If you're someone who, so I struggle with executive function, right? So, like, that is part of having ADHD. It's not just for things you don't want to do, it's for things that you do want to do. It's the executive function gets us, like, it just gets a starter step. And that's when you see living with someone with ADHD is also really funny because you see a lot of yourself, of them like pacing and around the room, not knowing where to start, and you go like, "Oh no, that hurts."
Oh,
Oh
you're
no.
stuck, aren't you?
Yeah, and like, but there's so many things, and you could do them all, but I don't know where to start, and that becomes really, really difficult for a lot of people when one of those things is missing. Like, what time does it happen? So, like, when you have something in place and like, I get in the car at 4:30 to make a 5 o'clock class, whatever it is. And I know that my programming will be done when I get there. I know exactly where my gym is. You have those things covered. You don't have to circle. You just go to like, I put my shoes on at 4:15. It just becomes this automatic thing. And that's really where we want to build you up for success when it comes to things that are going to make you feel good on a daily basis by developing these routines and habits.
So, as Kelsey said, our lists, our personal lists vary, and they vary based on lots of things. And your lists are not going to look like our lists. But if we can all sort of agree that there are some essentials that are essential, if we all have some like, okay, but this we all agree on. Hydration we all agree on. Nutrition we all agree on. exercise we all agree on. And those are often some of the places that things fall through. So we try to create some of our best top 5 around those most common ones, because those are the ones that we struggle with too. So,
And you can't really reach your next level of success until you have your basic needs met. So you really need to like clear a lot of that fog, get the energy, get the, patience, all of the things. Like we all agree we have to drink some water throughout the day. Like it's really not as weird. We're working hard at it, but it's not weird. Like we all agree we have to do these things, but they really are the baseline to set yourself up for those other goals that you're trying to skip over your basic needs to get to.
and then realizing, sadly, in a crash and burn situation, that your basic needs have been going
That
by
you
the
have no
wayside.
patience. Yeah, you have no patience for your kids. You have no energy. You're in your professional life, you're in a fog all of the time. Like you have no patience with your partner. Like you all of these things you can really whittle down to what basic needs are mine making not making sure that I'm meeting on a daily basis to be able to then give to the next level things that I want to do.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. But you got to know, we are able to bring you this incredible content each week and talk to you about all of the pressing matters in health and fitness because of our successful TTSL workout program.
We have incredible coaches, movement demos, and just different cycles all the time. So we take the thinking out of your training every day.
If you would like to join us, please go to ttsldaily.com and pick out your package. You are going to love every day of fitness. So the first one is mine. I know that you probably don't even think of this as a daily routine anymore because it's been part of yours for so long. There she is. But you guys need to make sure that you have an emotional support water bottle. Okay. If you don't have one, get one. Here's what I need from you. I need you to have a water bottle that literally everyone identifies you by. When
It's
you
true.
go somewhere, it's you and your water bottle. They say hi to both of you. If you were to leave your water bottle somewhere, everyone would know whose it was. Okay. This is your new bestie. And I think that this is when people go like, oh my, if you're one of those people that's like, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock, all I've consumed is coffee. This is a game changer. You get your emotional support water bottle. And then here's your routine. Every day, emotional support water bottle goes to the refilling station every single morning. The minute you hit your kitchen, you and your buddy go get filled up. It's even better if it has those like lines of where you want to be for the day hourly, but it honestly, it doesn't even matter. Fill her up, and then you guys go everywhere together. Keys, phone, emotional support water bottle. Everywhere. You're going to the grocery store, you're going to kid pickup, you're going to the gym. Like it does not matter where you're going. Emotional support water bottle is coming with you. There are so many places that you can now refill her when she gets low. And it really makes the most giant difference to just see your water bottle in your scope of vision all day so that you can sip and you don't have the panic chug at 3 o'clock when you realize that you are completely a shriveled raisin. And what have you done? Is this just me? Um, Yes, there are some obstacles. Okay. You got to wash her every night. I highly suggest one of those awesome little straw, the straw like squeegee scrunchies.
Yeah, we recently lost ours and I had a panic attack. Where's
That's a
our
big deal.
straw? I guess I was like, "Where's our straw cleaner?" He's like, "I don't know. Was it in with the sponges?" Oh my god, I'll kill you.
I'll kill you. I will physically harm you. Where's the straw cleaner? I actually have my emotional support water bottle has her own straw cleaner and her own little scrubby brush. It's just for her. I don't let it go on the dishes like the egg pans and shit. Like no. So
No,
that
it's
way,
just for that, but I keep it in with the same bowl, like the other,
yeah, so I can always clean her, but it just says on it
Yeah.
like Rachel's water, like no one. And here's
No.
why I do that, because it's like I need to be able to rinse and clean this quick every night. And I don't want to be like picking the like little cheese bits out of the, no, like don't you. So you got to wash her, and you can't misplace her. You will. And everyone will come running to you all at the same time, being like, oh my God, you're the green water bottle, right? Here you go. Um, but you absolutely need to have a personal water bottle that comes with you everywhere. This will change your life. It's a routine and a habit that is not difficult to put in place. It is not expensive. It is not um, any of the things, any of the excuses that we might make about why we aren't hydrating. This is a game changer. So if you aren't convinced, then how about if I just tell you again? You hydrate or you dehydrate,
So has this helped
bitch.
your water gain?
Oh my God. Well,
So
you
here's
know
the
why
thing.
I implemented it. Obviously, I've known for many years that I'm one dehydrated bitch. But remember when we went for the IVs?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't really, I feel okay. Like no major changes, like whatever. And then afterward, I was like, wow, there was a major change, because
Oh.
once that was out of my system, I started realizing that I was getting extremely bloated after every meal. And I looked it up, and that week that I got the IV, I wasn't. And I didn't really notice it at first until it came back. And then I was like, why am I extremely bloated again? What the hell? What is the one thing I changed? And I was like, oh my God. And I looked it up, and dehydration can cause bloating.
100%.
And so ever since then, me and my girl here.
That was what did it for you. Hey, that's a really good learning experience though for your hydration purposes. So I've had an emotional sport water bottle for a very long time.
I
I
have your teal
also
one, by the way.
Yeah.
You left
You
it.
do?
Yeah, because you left it at the beach. But I scooped it because I
That's
knew it was
Matt.
yours.
Okay, so
Oh, that's
Matt goes,
Matt. Oh,
so he goes, he's gonna be so mad. He goes, I was actually just thinking about this as we were talking. This is someone who has in a previous life not had an emotional support water bottle. And since sometimes when you are with someone, you just kind of like put your things on them and they realize their life is better because of it.
said every man
And
ever.
so this is one of the things. First, when I got him his first water bottle, he said, "I don't know if I'm a water bottle guy because I keep leaving it places." And I said, "Like, well, you're new with you're
You
new with
knew.
your
You're
bestie
new
here,
here. Yeah.
and you just have to, you got to keep figuring it out." And now it's like he doesn't go anywhere without it. Gathers up all of ours. Right now there's 3 of us, and we all have our water bottles, and they all come with us. And at the end of the day, Rachel and I went to the beach yesterday or Saturday, and he said, "Where's our teal water bottle? Or where's our green water bottles?" This is up for interpretation, I guess. It's teal.
Mm.
Um,
That's the one I have.
yeah. So, and I said, "Well, there's, mine's over there. Riley's is in my backpack." And then I said, "Well, where's yours? Like, you're in charge of your water
I have
bottle."
mine.
and I saw him leave with a different one this morning. We do have backups in the
Yeah, you
house.
want to have a backup. Of course.
Yeah, we do.
Of
We
course.
do definitely have backups, which I would 100% recommend. But
Of course.
because you always have to, next time when you're leaving, you always have to have your thing. But once you become this water bottle person, you really just don't go anywhere without it.
You don't go
And
back.
you don't, and you have to learn what's right for you. I know a lot of people like don't want a straw. Some people very much do want a straw. I'm more likely to drink with a straw because I like that sensation. I like it's not even necessarily I'm thirsty. I need to bite on something a little bit.
People, like, need a tumbler because, like, they need cold water, like, if the water is, like, lukewarm, they're not gonna drink it, and some people are like, "No, I don't want it to be icy cold." Like, these are all just, like, little nuances that will make finding your bottle
Mhm.
your own personal journey.
Your own personal bottle. I know that the having a handle is really important to me. One of the first ones, I had gotten the handle broke off, and I was just low key frustrated every time I went to go grab it because it was like big. My hand wasn't getting all the way around. I want to just be able to pull it.
That
You'll
handle
find
broke because you dropped it so much, but okay.
it's
Um,
true. But, I
yeah,
got a durable one that has its nicks on it because I can drop it. I know who I am as a person.
let's
But
go. Let's go. All right, so that's number one. You're gonna get yourself an emotional support water bottle immediately. It's going to go everywhere with you. Do you want to do one of yours, or do you want me to do another one of mine?
I can do one of mine.
All right, do one of
So
yours.
ours vary a little bit. So we can kind of go back and forth on these, but I wake up at the same time every day. So there is really no variation between my wake ups. And I think that is something that has really set me up for success every day because a morning routine is really important. And I know a lot of people go like, well, if I have something like a meeting later or took the day off, I wake up at the same time every day. And that's a twofold situation because one of our tips is for your nighttime routine. Now, your nighttime routine and your morning routine work hand in hand, and no one is going to convince me that they don't because they they help or hurt each other. And sometimes when our nighttime routine gets off, our morning routine gets pushed or gets pushed off. And then it's a vicious cycle of where do I reset? Where do I sacrifice a couple days of being like tired because I offset this one and now I'm in a place where like I can't wake up, I slept later. Now I'm going to go bed later because I woke up later. It's a whole thing. Morning time wake ups are very important for your whole body and to set the rest of your day up to be what your body expects from you in the morning. Do you wake up at the same time every day?
No.
I didn't think you did, but
No.
you and I have very different morning routines where like I am
My morning routine
almost
consists of survival.
I'm religious
Just make it.
about my morning routine. Um, it's something that is very important to me. And even though there's been a lot of changes in my life, with a little person waking up in the morning and being in a different house and moving, there's been a lot of adjustments, but I've been able to implement my morning routine around like just okay, it's got to adjust a little bit for whatever phase or whatever season of life you're in, but you decide what it is. It's not deciding you. So for
Yeah,
me, that involves the time for sure.
I definitely know that you're extremely I've
Always
never
have been.
it's so hard to travel with you because like the fact that you need to build in time to just sit and stare in the morning is just like for me, I am just like, yeah, but we could have slept 45 more minutes. And
What
all
are you
you've done is just stare.
gathering my thoughts, which follow I'm
Looks like
gathering
staring to me.
it does. It really does. Because like I need time to build up to warm up to the day. And once I get the thing is like once I get going, like there really is no stop. I'm like a freight train. And that's how I live my life. Like it just goes. Like I go to work, I go to the gym, I go like it's just like so like packed that like there is some built-in time in the morning where I kind of set some of my goals or intentions, which is getting into um, one of our other tips for you. But that's when I do it, and that's when I would really suggest for everyone to do it because like there are things that I want to go into my day with and I decide them in the morning. And I build in that time to be able to like think about what it is that I'd like to accomplish that day, how I'm feeling, how I'm going to start my day, and what my intentions are. That time is really important for me because that's where I really like focus the energy.
All right, well then just go into that one. Go into you already stole the show. Like it looked like staring to me, but now she's going to tell me it's totally philosophical. She's setting intentions,
For sure.
and look at
Well,
me
that's what I do. You
over
don't
there
have to
sleeping.
do that. You can, if sleeping is more productive or helpful for you to
It
be able
is.
to get going, then you can do that. But for me, I set realistic goals for the day, and this is the most effective thing that I do in the morning. And this can be, I don't want you guys to think like this is such a like life goals. These can be so simple as to like today I would like to spend an hour of like uninterrupted by my phone time with my kid or with this person, or I'm going to go on a walk with my mom today. That's something I would really like to accomplish today. And it can be really small things. So I don't want you guys to think it has to be this like you when you set your intention for the day, it has to be like, well, I intend to write a novel. I
World
at least
peace.
yeah, like it's at least the first 3 chapters. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be that serious. Like it can really be like sometimes I say, today I want to, and this is going to sound so stupid for a lot of people, but I'm just going to share it authentically. Today, I'd like to put laundry into the washing machine and into the dryer, and I want to have it folded by the end of the day. And that's a goal. Maybe for some of you guys, you're like, I don't have to think about that stuff. That's automatic for me. But for some of us, that is something that we're like. I know low key. When I wake up, I have a lot of clarity around like what low key is stressing me out, bothering me. And I can say like, all that laundry sitting there. When I go to bed at night, I see it. It's stressing me out. I wake up, I say, oh, it's still there. So today, I want to make sure that I get at least one load in. It's going to make it to its dryer and it's going to make it to its basket. It doesn't have to be put away. That's too much for me.
Gotta know yourself.
You gotta know yourself. And that's why I want to say
Me, the
realistic goals.
chair.
Yeah. Realistic goals for the day. Because if I think about the fact that it's all gotta go away, I'm less likely to start it because that seems too big. That seems a little bit too big. It has to be realistic for you. And these things can be as big or as small as you want them to be. And some of them will be ones that you repeat on a daily basis. But I just want to note that they don't always have to be productivity based. It doesn't have to be something that you say like, and productivity includes laundry. That's being productive with cleaning your house and do that. It doesn't always have to be productivity based. It can be like, I would like to spend this time today because this is on my list of like all these things are non-negotiables, important, being a good mom, sister, whatever. So at this time I would like to spend with this person and I would like it to be interrupted and it's going to happen at this time. I know I'm going to see them from here to here and I'm going to be intentional during that time to give them my utmost attention. Just an example of that so you can kind of see what that looks like. From 6:30 to 7:30, I know my family's home and not sleeping yet. And that time, and that's just an hour, right? But I know we're all here. And that time, I'm not going to spend on my phone. I'm going to spend that time doing whatever. There's a lot of flexibility. Maybe we're just making dinner together. Maybe we're just listening to The Lion King, whatever it is. But like I'm going to be intentional about spending that time and giving them that energy during that like time frame, blocked out time frame. Quick interruption to tell you guys about Black Friday early access because it's already started.
You guys, Group Friday kicked us off for the best month ever. November has tons of sales free gifts the whole entire month while we have stock of stuff, because you gotta get there. You gotta get there. And we have everything. We have tons of new prints. We have cozy gear. We have like literally everything you could want for November. We have it, and we have it at a discount.
And honestly, as we're talking about some of the things on the podcast, you want to prepare yourself with some gift cards because everyone you know needs some CVG, and have them in your back pocket so that when you have that little emergency that you need to give someone a gift you forgot, you'll have an awesome gift card so that they can pick out exactly what they want this holiday season. So shop constantlyvariedgear.com.
All right, so we've got your emotional support water bottle from me, and then real one-uppy over here. Who's now you got to set a daily intention. My God, I love it.
It
I
can be
love it.
whatever you want it to be,
I
Rachel.
love it. And also from Kelsey's list is to wake up at the same time every day. So I love yours, and I love that they're for you. I'm going to go off of one of my lists. And this is, again, not for everybody, but I have put in my daily routines that I take a multivitamin. I feel that this takes a tremendous amount of the pressure off of the um, am I slowly killing myself with lack of nutrients? Now, I just want to be clear that this is taking a multivitamin is in no way a substitute for nutritious whole food diet. Absolutely not even close. However, I think that in general, we can probably recognize that most of us have some holes nutrition wise that are not being filled on a daily basis. And the studies are mixed on multivitamins. I'm not going to lie. I'll put some in the show notes because, there's a ton of studies on whether or not multivitamins are worth their weight in gold. And there's been some back and forth on that, and some studies finding, a reduction in cancer, some studies saying like no effect on heart or brain function in placebo groups versus non-placebo groups. So, we still don't know, but I think that the important thing is that what's the harm? You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about going to the supplement store and buying $900 worth of supplements and being like, oh
No.
my God, I'm going to build this concoction. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about freaking going to the grocery store and getting a basic multivitamin for women and saying, like, you know what? I know that on a daily basis, I'm probably not getting the full spectrum of vitamins and nutrients that are available through food. And on the days that I don't, maybe I can just fill some of these gaps, and maybe this is helping me. I think that when we start again overcomplicating a routine or a habit, over researching it, saying like, well, which is the perfect vitamin, which gets absorbed the best, which are the vitamins and nutrients I personally am lacking, and let me make this personal concoction, that's when we end up with nothing. And so I know this about myself, and I just said like, I'm just gonna go and get like the basic women's multivitamin, and I'm just gonna work on taking it. And if I can do that and get that habit and routine down, then maybe I think about optimizing with certain supplements that I want more of or less of. But until then, I'm just going to say that this may be filling some gaps that I have, and what's the harm?
Yeah, I love it. I don't take a multivitamin every day, but I do use collagen in my water. So I just plug that in. But I do think that that is really helpful for people who are looking to add that in, and just kind of like have that one check off their list almost of like, I've contributed something to my physical health. It's almost like in less than 30 seconds.
There are some preliminary studies that are showing that people that take a multivitamin are more likely to do other things in their life that are based on health and fitness. So I'm not saying causation, I'm just saying, like, hey, you take that small baby step and then all of a sudden maybe you're like, I really should, go on more walks, and maybe I really should drink more water, and maybe I want to go up it to 20 minutes of exercise every day. I'm just saying it can be a jumping off point for people where it is a reminder to think about your health and wellness and to prioritize it. And so, like, I just don't see enough downsides to it to say, like, you know, oh no, it's no good. I just only see upsides. So that's why I'm doing it.
For sure. So along the same lines, I non-negotiable in the morning. I always include a protein in my breakfast. Number one, I always have breakfast. Number two, it always includes a protein, no matter what. It's a non-negotiable for me. So you just never catch me on the like, okay, well, if we're just gonna have pancakes, I'm not gonna have like any source of protein, something like that. Like non-negotiable, there's always a protein in my breakfast. And I absolutely live by this. There's a ton of studies that back up having protein in your breakfast leading to a more successful day for healthy eating habits, more an increase in energy, because it does actually provide energy for you for a longer period of time. And we're not starting our day on carbs and sugar, which is a lot of the American diet. But there is a ton of studies about this that really just backs up the fact that doing this simple, quote unquote, simple thing at the beginning of your day can have a massive impact on the rest of your day, and then on your sleep, then how you start your next day. So it's really one of those things that trickles into the rest of the day, and it is an absolute non-negotiable for me.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm glad you said that one. All right. My last one is something I wanted to include, one that is in progress. So obviously I have far more, daily routines than what I'm saying. I'm just kind of picking some of the top ones that I think would be universal and helpful. But this one is one that I'm trying out and working on adding. And I thought it would be kind of a cool thing to introduce and talk about, and then just like we can see how it goes as I get further into my journey with it. I would not call it a routine or a habit right now. It's just at the preliminary stages of I am feeling it out and trying to put it in every single day. But I am working right now on time blocking. And if you haven't heard about this tactic, essentially it's just helping you to maximize the time that you have so that you have more to work on the things you want to work on. So there's less sort of wasted time. This really super, super interests me because I'm like a crazy everything's for time person. And I am very all about maximizing time and not wasting that. Like, I, I've pretty much scarred my kid, I think, because he's always like well, yeah, I mean, we could do that, but I don't want to waste time. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. But essentially, time blocking is a time management method, and you basically divide your day into blocks, and each block is dedicated to a certain task or a group of tasks. So from this time to this time, I'm going to work on my emails. And you set it in the beginning of the day, and then you do the thing in that time and then not during other times. So this is really helpful if you are a person that constantly has trouble making choices about like what to focus on. What should I do next? Where area needs my attention? And it's also really helpful so that you can save on your mental, I guess, fortitude, wherewithal. Like, there's only so much mental energy that you have in a day. And if you have to spend a lot of it, what I call putting out fires, which is like an email just came in. Oh, a Slack just came in. Oh my God, I forgot to do this thing. The dishes are still in the sink. And you have all these constant pulls at your attention, and you're not setting a specific block of when those will be accomplished and then stop bothering you. I find that it is an exhaustion on your mental fortitude. It's just, it takes up so much mental strength to be pulled into putting out all those fires every day that you're so tired by the end of the day that exercise feels impossible. Anything but sitting on your phone or sitting in front of a screen and watching TV feels impossible. Getting up to meal prep feels impossible, because it's just been so chaotic the whole day. And that just mentally drains you. And what time blocking is, studies have shown what it teaches people is sort of to dedicate this time and then leave it alone until the next day. And that eliminates that feeling of one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next in this chaotic environment. And so I think, so far, I'm really, really happy with the way that it's going. It doesn't take me a lot of time. It's similar to your like setting intention for the day, except like I just set my intentions with time limits. So essentially, I'm just kind of putting on a timer and saying, this is how long I have to do this. And after this is up, I have to move on. So far, so good. I really like
I
it.
think, I think that's a really great one for a lot of people who find themselves. I would suggest this for you guys. If you are someone who is unhappy with the amount of scrolling time that you have, or the time that you feel you're not using to the best of your advantage, and you're personally unhappy with that, because you really decide, if you are happy or unhappy with how you're spending your time. But if you constantly feel overwhelmed, and you constantly feel like you shoulda, coulda, woulda, I think you should try time blocking, because I think that that is a really good solution to actually addressing those feelings of overwhelmed, by being like, I am dedicating this time to it and then I'm done, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. Um because it's time to move on from that task now. And I think it can be really effective for those moments where you're saying like, "Ah, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to doom scroll a little bit." And then an hour has gone by
Yep.
and you haven't accomplished any of the things that you wanted to accomplish during that time.
Yep.
Like,
It's
oh,
helped me a ton with notification overload. Because I am like, when an email comes in, I have to answer it, or I have to read it, or I have to respond to it. As like now it's like, well, 9 to 10:30 is emails. And so when notifications pop up outside of that time, I'm like, well, that's 9 to 10:30. I'm not doing that right now. That's not part of my journey. And
but
it's helped me,
that it will
but
get
it
done
will get
because you
done.
have that time blocked off for it. So I
Exactly.
think that's where it really becomes successful, because you're not like, well, I'm just going to miss it and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I have that time blocked off for it. It's just not right now.
Mhm.
So I will hit that when it's time for that. I think that's a really good one. Um, all right. This is just one that kind of goes with the podcast that I just have to say for you guys. Movement of any form in your day. Movement of any form. Let me just say that can be your dedicated gym time. That can be a dedicated walk time. That can be a stretch at the end of the night. This can look different on a daily basis, but you need to have dedicated movement every day. That's something that's very helpful for me. It is not, it's not always, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour every day. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about checking in and caring for your body on a daily basis is meeting your basic needs. It's not an extracurricular activity. It's not a luxury that we've made it out to be. It's not, it's literally your basic needs. That can be stretching in the shower. That can be at the end of the day you're stretching, just walking around your neighborhood with your dog. These are very simple things, but I want to take it out of the category of this luxury that only some people have time for. No, it's not. It's movement on a daily basis. And along the same lines, a non-negotiable for me is breathing. Now, it sounds weird, but I forget to breathe. It's a really weird thing. But it's not that I just forget to breathe. I'm just like, I'm sitting there like, it's like I only breathe short air, and it causes a lot of anxiety for me, particularly. I know that it builds up, and it builds up in a way that will cause panic attack. So I've noticed this about myself over the years. So every day I say at some point today, I take time to make sure that I'm breathing. Now, that doesn't have to be this crazy 20-minute breath work. It's just at some point in the day, I'm going to intentionally focus on my air. Coming in, taking a deep breath in that makes you sit up straight, getting air all the way into your diaphragm, holding it for a couple seconds, and pushing it out is one of those things that will regulate your nervous system in ways that I cannot even express to you how important it is for your day.
So I hope and I think that the common theme of the routines and now habits for us that we are describing to you and kind of opening up the possibility for you to include some of these in your life if they fit. I think that the common overall theme is that these are really simple. They're simple, they hit basic needs. The best routines and habits are going to meet those two criteria. They're going to be simple. They're not going to need a whole lot of tools or planning or any of that, and that they're going to meet a basic need. Because as we said in the beginning of this podcast, when you find those basic baseline needs are being met, everything else becomes a little more doable, a little easier, and certainly when you're not expending energy on basic needs because they're coming in the form of routine and habits, you have leftover energy for other things. And I think that ultimately what we're all looking for when we go on the long list of skincare, hydration, being a great parent, all of these things that we say, like, this is all so impossible. When you break those down to daily habits that are repeatable and easy, we see that there actually is space for all of those. There's not space every day for a 64-step skincare routine, but there is space every day to wash your face. And so thinking about, these things in that way may help you to get them done on a daily basis. And then all of a sudden the need for 164 steps skincare routine isn't really there, because for the past 164 days, you've been taking care of your skin. And that's the goal with exercise. That's the goal with nutrition. That's the goal with time blocking. That's the goal with all of it. So we hope this has been helpful. And if you would like to get in the socials and tell us what some of your daily routines are that you have in place that you think might help other people, we would love that.
Yeah. What do you have in place now that you feel is super helpful for you? It's a non-negotiable. And maybe think about what are some of the ones that after listening to this podcast, you've decided like, okay, I think that I would like this one and I'm going to put it in place. And this is how I'm going to put it in place. Because you can't have the what without the how.
Now
So
take a sip.
tell us. Now take a sip of your
She
emotional
should be
support.
right next to you. She's always right next to you.
She's always just out of frame.
Take your sip.
Your emotional support water bottle. We love you guys.